I want to show what I've done to kind of help not spook deer out of my food plots. When I bought this property, the roads that we walk on to get back into the woods go right along the edge of the food plots, and oftentimes in the afternoons, especially coming and going from hunting, we were scaring deer out of the field. They'd run off. So to help prevent that, we've planted a few things, done a few things just to provide a visual barrier and some ideas that maybe would help you if you're having some of the same issues. So come on, let's take a look. So the road coming from the camp comes to the first food plot here, and what you see is where it looks like it divides. Well, originally this out in front right here was actually part of the food plot, and as we walked down the road here, that's where we would spook deer. Deer that were in the food plot would see us and run off. So as you can see, we've just kind of let this grow up some. I've planted a few things in here, which we'll get up in the deer stand and look down and you get a little bit better perspective on it. But you can see how we kind of use just some natural growth and some plantings to provide a kind of a visual barrier so we aren't spooking these deer. We'll come on this way and we'll see. So you'll notice that there's some just some natural pine that's coming back up, volunteer pines, that's fine. In addition, this is actually just a very common household shrub. This is a Elaeagnus or Russian olive. You see it in subdivisions. Usually people plant it to make a nice hedgerow, and it does a good job of doing that. I've got a hedgerow of this Elaeagnus all across here, and the thought was that as this was small and growing up, it would provide a good cover up to ground height. And then I've got some trees, some sawtooth oaks planted that will provide a good barrier up above, and that's what these are. These are sawtooth oak trees, and come around this way. And as you look down, you can see I've got rows, several rows of them. They're kind of staggered so that they should provide a good visual barrier higher up. So the combination of the natural growth, the sawtooth oaks, and the Elaeagnus Russian olive bushes are doing a good job so that when we come by here, the deer don't see us for the most part. However, look out in the middle of the food plot, what I've also done. Okay, as you look out into the food plot, you see I've got an area of natural grass growing out here. I just didn't plant a spot right in the middle. Well, this food plot has contour to it, and the entire property kind of slopes, and so as we are walking down the road on that far end, until this stuff has grown up high enough to block it a little bit better, deer can still see us. And so what I've done is allowed this little section in the middle to grow up tall, and as we're riding by, that is providing, it gets up high enough, it provides enough cover so that deer that are over the contour of the hill towards the back down there, as we go past the one area over there where they could see us over the top of this growth, it's providing a block. So it'll make a little more sense when I show you from up above. So let's go climb up the deer stand and take a look and see how it looks from up above. Okay, so hopefully from up here, looking out of the stand, it'll make a little more sense. You can see here, you see the rows of the sawtooth oaks, you can see the wild native grass growing, and you can see the row of Elaeagnus or Russian olive that's growing and providing the barrier between the road and the food plot. And then as I pan around across the food plot, again, you see the patch of natural grass out in the middle, and earlier in season it looks a lot taller and bigger, and it does a lot better job of kind of blocking the view of the deer from the back of the field from farther down the road when we're coming in on the other side, and it's not doing a good job up here at the front edge blocking it. So that has helped a lot. It really prevents us from spooking the deer most of the time, and so hopefully that'll help you. We're gonna go and look at one of the other food plots in field 2. Same general idea, done a little bit differently, and I'm glad you have to take a look at that and see if it'll help. Okay, on my second food plot, it's a little different than the first one in that we don't have a problem with the road walking right by it, but the food plot is kind of like a turtle shell. It's got a high spot in the middle, and because of that, to be able to see all parts of the field the deer stand has to be kind of out in the middle, up on top of the turtle shell. Not all the way on the top, but going up the slope into it. And so as a result of that, getting in, walking to and getting in and out of the deer stand, the deer would always see us on the back side. So we've done a few things here, and it's helped pretty well. One of the things that we did, as I just mentioned, was instead of putting the deer stand all the way up on the top peak of the turtle shell, we brought it back as far as we could so that when we were up in the deer stand, we could still see everything on the back side. So, and there you kind of see. And you'll see these, I've planted these, or just let natural growth go in these areas to block visibility of the deer when we're walking to and from the stand, because most of the time the deer in this food plot are on that back side. And so what we just needed to protect was just block visibility of deer at the back part from us coming into the field and getting in the stand. So we'll go up in the stand and again look back down and let you see how we've kind of left these rows in here. It does a couple of things. One, I think the deer feel more comfortable when they have these barriers of grass, when it's less wide open and they have a little bit of something close to them. They don't like it as much to be out in the wide open. So having these little barriers planted in here makes them feel a little bit more comfortable coming out sometimes, and it serves as a great visual barrier. So let's go out here and see. Okay, so obviously I'm not up in the deer stand, but I think you can get the idea. This is the crest of the hill is out in front of us here, and over that backside is usually where the deer will be as we're coming to get in this box stand. So you can see I've left a kind of a row of grass across right here, and then I'll pan out to the sides a little bit. You can see I've left grass strips around the edges of the food plot, and also the far edge out over here is oftentimes where deer are. So I've left the grass, I've let the grass make a big turn here, and then you can see the row of grass down this side over here. I've left those strategically placed so that on the entire walk into this stand, that is almost obscuring your view the entire way, so the deer are not seeing us, and it works fantastic. It works great. It makes it a little bit harder when planting and cutting the food plot, because you got to go around and make sure you don't lose your barriers that you've built, but it works great. It does a good job of keeping these deer from seeing us. Kind of way off in the back, I don't know how well on the camera you can see, but you can see where I've planted sawtooth oaks and several other kinds of trees. You see the grow tubes, the tree tubes out there, and all of this inside the food plot used to be just open food plot like all the others that you're used to seeing. But having these things built in has done a great job of allowing us to have a deer stand out here in the middle of the plot and not spook the deer. So it's been a great thing for us. You know, I've been in clubs and things where we've had these same issues. We just never did anything about it. So this is something I've done that I hope will be a help for you if you have a situation where you have deer being spooked out of your food plots. Good hunting to you, and I hope that little tip helps.
Speaker, David Ellis, who's looking at a scrape. Cameraman, Paige Ellis. Four-wheeler driver, Brant McClendon. Extra dude, Cameron McClendon, is behind him every now and then.